Not unsurprisingly, there's nobody up at the flying field today. It's rather gusty, rather windy, but I want to fly. Bad weather's forecast, so without further ado, let's get a model and get up to the patch. Hopefully you won't lose me in the sound of the wind. I won't need to put the electric fence down today. I should be taking off in a very short distance and landing in a very short distance. Okay. Check controls. Things to consider is obviously the wind direction. If you haven't got a windsock up, you can just grab some grass and throw it. So I'm not into wind there. There's going to be a fair amount of turbulence over this hedge, so I'm going to try and stay this side of the hedge. So get her up and see what's going on. Here we go. So she's taken off pretty smartly, and I expect the air to be a little bit bumpy, which it is. If you fly low to the ground, you're going to risk, things happen very quickly, you're going to risk coming a cropper. But see how I stayed this side of the hedge. Know your model's stalling characteristics as well. This one's pretty good, but if I hover it about in the wind, it's going to, well, just get blown about a bit, so I want to come in a little bit quicker. And the first thing I'm doing now is just practicing a couple of dummy approaches to see what it's like. It's being blown backwards there, so I'll give it some stick. And the wind's getting a bit gusty now. Whoops! Nearly lost my hat there. So the wind's gusty wind is worse, of course, because you got to combat the. You can't quite come in nice and smooth because the wind's gusting. Just as you've set yourself up for a nice approach, everything changes. But there you can see it's quite smooth and staying nice and level. Keeping pointing into wind for the minute because nothing happens very quickly, but you'll see in a moment what I'll do. I'll turn around and see how quickly it'll come downwind because you've got the airspeed coupled with the wind speed. Here we go, look. Obviously if I was losing control there, it would be downwind and lost very, very quickly. Generally people don't like flying in the wind. You have to obviously be quite experienced, but if you build up gradually as flying in stronger and stronger winds, eventually it'll just be second nature. So I've got quite a height up there. If I just drop the throttle now, coming down quite unstably really. Right, let's really try to bring her in now. Let's see what happens. Nice and level, fair amount of speed, I've got to land on the patch because I've got the wires up, electric fences up, so it's quite hairy, as you can see. And of course I've got to land dead into wind. If I land sideways at all, the wind will take it and it will get thrown, it'll get blown back. That looks pretty good. A little heavy landing, but I'm down. That's quite a breezy day, and I'm not into wind, so the right hand wind could lift, so I've got right rudder on just in case. Let's check out the undercarriage. That went down quite heavy. The safety is off, but I still wouldn't trust it. Oh yeah, I've broken one of the struts, look. That's fixable, I guess. But that finishes today's flying off. So let's go back to the box. First of all, forecast is pretty bad for the next few days. Today's forecast was rain coming in later, but of course it's windy, so that's put a lot of people off. There's a saying, it applies to models as well as full size, where I first heard it, and that is, it's better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than in the air wishing you were still on the ground, because once you take off, if you're out of your depth, you're going to lose your model. It's going to get wrecked. Having decided that it's not too breezy for you and you're going to go for it, then go for it. Always have a polythene bag in your car. If your model does get wrecked, trying to hold lots of little bits of balsa wood or polystyrene is quite difficult. So once you've decided you're going to have a fly, obviously if you've not flown in wind in a particular place, the conditions, if you can ask somebody, great. If there's another member here, if there isn't, then you're going to have to evaluate the flying site yourself. This particular one, we've got a slope facing the wind direction, so I'm going to get a lot of lift going forward and a lot of turbulence as it hits the hedge behind me, which is of course directly in line with my landing path. Keep your model facing into wind if you get into trouble, and at least it's going to come down relatively softly somewhere. If it's in the flying field, even better. If it's on the strip, top marks. So get airborne, build your experience and skill level up to where you can fly in breezy conditions. So I guess the bullet points are going to be: don't fly beyond your skill level, build up to windier conditions as they become windier and windier, evaluate the conditions when you get to your field, keep it pointing into wind for most of the flight, or go upwind before you commit to a downwind turn to get back to your landing pattern, and just above all, have fun, of course. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to give us a like or subscribe, great. And if there's anything you'd like to see me have a go at, just leave a comment below and I'll do my best to accommodate. I just had another thought, actually. If you're not used to flying in wind, a great way to learn is to, if you've got a flight simulator, if you haven't, you should have, put the wind up, make it gusty, and change directions, and just have a go at flying in winds. Put down a sensible speed, say 15-20 mile an hour gusting, and have a go. You'll find that it's actually the skills you learn on the simulator are exactly the same as real life, and because you don't wreck your model. So have a go at that. And of course, if it's wet and windy, you're flying anyway, so it's a win-win.